Hello, Grade 2. Welcome to Units of Inquiry. Today we're looking at what it means to be a lifelong learner. If we were to think about somebody in our life who loves learning, who always turns on that flashlight, that brain inside, and engages with the world, somebody who loves to learn new things. What choices do they make? What are their behaviors? What do you see them doing all the time? Today, we're going to read a story called The Wise Woman and Her Secret. I love this story, and I read it to my students every year because there's a character. It could be one or maybe two characters who they are lifelong learners. And I wonder when we read it if you'll be able to pick out who it is and what they do. But first, before you listen to this story, you have to write down on our class virtual bulletin board what you think are the behaviors of a lifelong learner. If you haven't done that yet, if you haven't posted your ideas, you need to pause this video right now and go and put those ideas on the virtual bulletin board. But if you've already done it, then let's get started with the story. The Wise Woman and Her Secret. Once, not so long ago, in the hills past the hollow, there lived a wise woman. She had long dark hair that was streaked with white, like patches of snow on the muddy spring ground. Her eyes were bright as blackberries, and she had a smile for every creature. Her voice was soft as the fur of her cat, yet you could hear her every word from far away. She was so wise that people from many towns in the valley gathered together and came to seek her out. If they could discover the secret of her wisdom, oh, how fortunate they might become. So they climbed and they clambered up the long meandering path to where the wise woman lived. They all hurried as fast as possible. The quicker they got there, the sooner they would possess the secret of wisdom. Only a little girl named Jenny fell behind. She kept picking up pebbles along the path, tossing them into the air and trying to see if she could catch them. "Don't lag! Don't loiter! Don't dawdle!" people scolded and pulled her along. Faster and faster they journeyed, past orchards and silos, past walls and fences, until they came to an open field with a barn, a well, and a small wooden house. The wise woman was sitting on the porch, rocking to the rhythm of a silent tune. The tallest among the travelers pushed forward. "We are here for your secret. We have come a long distance. We wish to get back before dark. So, give it to us, without delay." The tall man's wife tugged at his sleeve. "Say please," she whispered. "Oh, please is a pleasing word," the wise woman said, smiling. But it can't make me give you the secret. You will have to discover it for yourselves. Please feel free to look around you." And she would say no more, but kept on with her rocking. So they went on searching They ran to the barn, stamped on the earthen floor, jabbed at the piles of hay, pointed up at the rafters. Perhaps the secret was there. The tall man lifted Jenny onto his shoulders. She could fetch it down for them. "Oh!" Jenny exclaimed from the lofty perch. And oh again! Oh, she must have found it! The tall man swung her down and held out his hand. But all Jenny had was a speckled feather and a twig in the shape of a Y, with a silky cobweb spun inside. So they went on searching some more. They tiptoed around the house, inspected the herbs in the window boxes, followed where the wise woman cat went. The cat led them to an old gnarled blackthorn tree. They pulled quickly at the branches and winced as they drew back in pain. Some began muttering, "Oh, there must be bad luck here." "Yes," others said, nodding. "Something strange going on. Perhaps this wise woman is a mischief maker." A gray-beard stroked his chin. "She may not be our kind at all. Perhaps she isn't a human being like us. Perhaps she is from another planet." "Yes, yes," they began to whisper in excitement. "That must be the answer. That is why we can't find the secret." Even though they were far from the house, the wise woman overheard what they were whispering, and her soft voice traveled to them. She laughed. "I am of this planet as much as any last one of you. I breathe the same air. I follow the same clock of the seasons. The leaves newly minted in springtime, branches flowering and floating in summer, rich with harvest fruits in autumn, and the beauty of the bare branches like dark letters against the parchment of the winter sky. And then April green time again." "No, I am not from another universe. I am of your time and your place." So they went back to her house and watched while she kept on rocking to her silent tune. After a while she got up and went to the well, filled a bucket with water, and walked slowly back to the house. They all watched, and as soon as she was out of sight, they pointed. "The secret must be at the bottom of the well." Everyone crowded around while the strongest among them brought up bucket after bucket. "Quicker! Quicker! Hoist the rope!" What a disappointment! Nothing, after all, but clear well water, and a green tarnished penny that someone must have thrown into the well ages ago for good luck. "Surely wisdom is worth more than a penny," the strongest person grumbled, and threw the coin on the ground. Jenny looked at the drops of water glinting on the coin, like dew in the early morning. As she looked, the green, tarnished metal seemed almost to melt into the green of the grass. "Hmm, I wonder why the metal is green." She picked up the coin and put it in her pocket. Off everyone trooped, all except Jenny, who jumped up and down so she could hear the coin jingling against the pebbles in her pocket. She walked through the field and up to the porch of the house. The wise woman was there, and as she rocked, Jenny nodded her head in rhythm. The wise woman changed to another silent tune and asked, "What do you have in your pocket, little girl?" "Would you like to see?" Jenny offered. "May I?" The wise woman invited Jenny to step closer. Jenny handed over the coin, and the wise woman held it up to her eye. Peering closely. Peering means looking. Then she turned it over and peered at the other side. Then flipped it back again and spun it around and around in her hand. She threw it in the air and she caught it and she made a tight fist. "Shall I give it back to you?" "Would you like to keep it?" Jenny asked. "Oh, my dear child, it belongs to you." The wise woman opened her hand and held the coin out to Jenny. Jenny took the coin and held it close to her eyes, the way that the wise woman had. She peered at one side and then at the other. "Why?" she wondered aloud. "Why does it look green instead of copper-colored? And what are the Latin words? How do they fit into such a small space? What do the numbers mean? Why did they put the face on the coin? What kind of building is on the other side?" The wise woman listened and laughed. "Oh, my dear child, you have found the secret." Jenny was puzzled. "How can I have found it?" "Because, you see, the secret of wisdom is to be curious, to take the time to look closely, to use all your senses, to see and touch and taste and smell and hear, to keep on wandering and wondering." Wandering and wondering. "And if you don't find all the answers, you will surely find more to marvel at in this curving, curling world that spins around and around amid the stars." Jenny heeded, that means paid attention to, the wise woman's words. She returned home in good time, and she sauntered and sang, tasted and touched, and listened and laughed and cried, and she grew up to become a wise woman herself. Have you figured out who in the story were the lifelong learners? There was more than one. What did they do that made them lifelong learners? How did they grow up to be such wise women? Wise means understanding about the world around them and the way to treat the world and the way to make choices, to make right choices. That's wisdom. I would like you to really think and go back to the virtual bulletin board and add one or two behaviors that you saw the wise woman and Jenny make in the story. As we learn this year how to become lifelong learners like Jenny and the wise woman. Have fun, grade 2.